everybody, Yankee here. Today I want to come at you with some sad and quite frankly shocking news. It seems that getting stabbed is bad for you. It's dangerous actually, you can even die from it. And we have proof of that once again from Sydney, Australia. It seems a crazed person over there entered a mall and killed several people and severely injured several more who are now fighting for their lives, including a baby. Now, I know a lot of you right now are saying, this isn't possible. This has got to be fake news because Australia banned guns and everybody turned their guns in and it's been a utopia ever since. Well, that I guess isn't the case because, like I said, this just happened in Australia. And this guy was able to do this. He was able to kill several people and severely wound several more because he had a sharp object and everybody else was defenseless. He was able to go in with a knife or a pointy stick or whatever and kill and injure a lot of people single-handedly because he was a bad guy doing a bad thing with a tool and other people were not able to meet him with equal force or greater force because they were not armed. Now, I know a lot of you right now are also struggling with this. It's about to make your head implode because it messes with your worldview because you've been indoctrinated by the government and the powers that be that if guns disappeared, so would all of our problems. Society would be wonderful if there were no guns. It'd all be rainbows and unicorns. We'd all shit ice cream and piss chocolate syrup. Because guns are the root of all evil. Well, it turns out guns are not the root of all evil. People are the root of evil. Evil people do evil things, and it doesn't matter which tools they have, they can still manage to do evil things, as evident in this case where a guy could cause so much harm and cost so much life simply because he had a sharp object and a bad attitude. It's just the reality. The tools don't really matter in these situations. Bad guys will do bad things no matter what tool they have to use. And that's evident if you look at history. I challenge anyone out there who's anti-gun to come in one of my chats and we'll talk about any atrocity you want to talk about. Any time that an individual or a small group of individuals used firearms to kill innocent civilians, we'll look at that and then I will show you a circumstance or a situation or an event where someone did equal damage or greater damage with just knives, bladed weapons. And that's not even bringing bombs and fire into the mix. You'll see that guns are not really the responsible agent here. They're just the tool. It's pretty obvious. Like I said, this guy had a bladed weapon, was able to kill a lot of people. And you know how he was finally stopped? By a woman with a gun. A policewoman. I don't know if she was off duty or on duty, but she was armed with a firearm and she took him down. That shows you guns are the equalizer. Because if this had been a policewoman with a baton, he'd killed her. If this had been a policewoman with a knife, he probably would have killed her. He's a man. And she's a woman. And before people are like, oh, that's sexist, Google something like world champion black belt female fights regular Joe. And what you'll see is a bunch of videos of highly trained women getting the shit kicked out of them by fat couch slobs. Because women, I'm all for women having equal rights. I think women are just as smart as men, if not smarter. I think they're as emotionally mature, if not more mature. But when it comes to physical strength, on average, they're just lacking. That's not what they were built for. They're built to be able to endure the pain of childbirth and to be able to rear children. And men are built to be able to go out and wrestle bars and get food. It's just the way it is. That's the reality of the world. Doesn't matter how you identify. If you got that XY chromosome, you got a physical advantage. Whether you're wearing a wig or got a bald head, doesn't matter. So this kind of thing will happen no matter what tools are around. Like I said, this just goes to illustrate that guns are not the problem. In fact, guns are often the solution. Because if someone like me, you know, I'm over 6 feet tall, I'm 220 something pounds, and if I went into a mall with a big old Bowie knife, you know, I got crazy old man strength sometimes when I get mad. So if I went in and decided I was going to hurt some people, I'm going to be able to hurt some people. And it ain't nothing most people are going to be able to do about it unless they're equally armed or armed to a greater degree than me and able to meet me with equal or greater force. Because a crazed old man with a gun is dangerous. A crazed old man with a knife is just as dangerous. if not more so, because I'm going to get up close and personal and do some damage. So you might be asking yourself now, well, if this is true, if guns aren't the problem, if guns aren't the root of all evil and bad things happen with knives and bombs, etc., because just imagine if my goal was just to hurt people, if I stood in the upper level of a mall, you know, there's one place in one of our malls where the area below is a little daycare area and an eating area where there's just tons of people all the time. If I just stood up there with a backpack full of pipe bombs, lighting them and dropping them down, how much damage would I do before people got away? Or before anyone even knew what was going on to stop me? It doesn't matter the tool. It matters the heinous person committing the crime. They're going to find a way to do damage. But you might be asking yourself, well, if that's the case, why does the government try to make it sound like guns are all the problem? Well, that's because even though knives and things like that are great for committing atrocities against other unsuspecting people, they're not great in combat. Like if you were combating a corrupt government, guns are better for that. And that's why the government doesn't want you having those. They don't care if you have your knives and stuff because they'll just shoot you from a distance. It's when you can fight back against them that they're worried. So that's why they demonize handguns, rifles, whatever. It's because it puts you on a more equal footing with them. Just like that gun put that female police officer on an equal footing with that guy with a knife. Actually, it put her on superior footing in that case. And that illustrates why we should have guns. Not only because someday we may need to fight against a tyrannical government, and being able to resist as much as we can to gain public sympathy is going to be important, and firearms are going to play the major role in that. That's one reason we need them. But another reason we need them is just so that every crazy asshole with a bad attitude and a pointy stick can't commit atrocities just because nobody else can fight back.